Okay. So we do have a new PTB, right? Yeah. New PTB, Alan Wake, some serious changes that we kind of were made aware of last night watching it. Now, at the start of a video, you know, I haven't been keeping up really since the Christmas event to know what the hell is actually going on. But look what we have when we, like, have first come into DBD. Like, okay, so what am I looking at here? Look at this. This is a whole new, like, there's so much room. Like, there's not all these things on the left side. Like, you have 3 things. You have the store, you have the archives, which we can't access, and then you have the play drop-down button. But I'm curious as to why they decided to change this UI again. Is this permanent? Is this temporary? Is it because we want to see some, you know, beautiful foliage over here? Like, what's the point of this? Alright, so just go ahead and go to the news page. Let's look at the mid-chapter 30 PTB. Okay, so we have the new survivor, Alan Wake. We have updates for the Hillbilly, Onryo, add-on updates for the Blight, perk updates for Quick Gambit, Save the Best for Last, and Grim Embrace, and an update to the Mount Ormond map. We have new field of view settings, which I believe is only for killers at this time. Generator system update, some bug fixes, and some still known issues that, you know, we're aware is a deal here. So let's take a minute and let's look at this. There's not gonna be any sound for this. So let's switch over. Here's the patch notes for the demo update. We're gonna keep the game stuff going on in the background. Let me go ahead and do this so we can see if you guys have any questions. So the changes to generators. Kicking things off, we have a few updates to generators. More specifically, these changes target how generators are damaged by the killer and how their regression can be stopped by survivors. The goal with this update is to bring an end to excessively long matches, 3-gen scenarios in particular, and at the same time improve the killer's ability to damage generators. 3-gen scenarios are those where the killer aims to defend 3-gens that are close by in particular, and does not participate in normal gameplay, not chasing survivors, etc. In this instance, survivors are not able to make any meaningful progress to those generators. Going forward, each generator can only suffer from a maximum of 8 regression events, where a regression event is any time the killer or their perks removes at least 2.5% of the generator's progress in an instant. An indicator will show the killer if a gen can no longer be damaged. In the overwhelming majority of games, this will not come into play. However, in scenarios where the killer is defending a set of generators and refusing to chase survivors, there will eventually come a point where they can no longer damage the gen. We can bring an end to excessively long matches. At the same time, we want to address a point of frustration for killers as well. Survivors working on a generator briefly to stop it from regressing, or gen tapping for short. Given the number of regression events is now limited, stopping a gen from regressing is more meaningful than ever. To prevent survivors from tapping a gen to negate one of those regression events, we have made 2 changes. The base damage from kicking a gen has been increased to 5%. At least 5% of the gen's total charges must be repaired to stop regression, otherwise it will begin regressing again when the survivor stops repairing. We'll help ensure that the killer always gets some value from kicking a generator and encourage survivors to think twice before attempting to stop the regression. I don't know how I feel about that, I'll be honest. I mean, sure, they can kick the gen less to make it meaningful, but I don't know. We're not gonna get into that right now. A field of view setting. Shadowborn permanently locked. Is Shadowborn permanently locked into one of your perk slots? So that's about to change thanks to the new first person field of view slider. Playing with this update, killers in first person will be able to adjust their FOV to something they're more comfortable with, ranging from 87 degrees to 103 degrees. Perks which alter your field of view, Shadowborn, Monitor, and Abuse, will need to be adjusted. We'll cover exactly how those perks are changing later in this post. Bear in mind, this option only applies to first-person field of view and therefore will not affect survivors. That's fair, that's fine, that's whatever. You know, we have a bigger field of view than killers. I don't see a problem with that. They're changing how the Onryo works. Some players were pleased with the changes. Many longtime Onryo mains felt their gameplay had changed too much from the killer they once loved. In this update, we want to revisit Sadako once more to find the middle ground which better appeals to all their players, old and new. In the last update, Condemn would spread to all survivors who were not holding a tape whenever Sadako projected to a TV. This allowed her to spread her curse more often, but many have felt this favored teleporting as soon as possible rather than strategically during a chase. that's something that I feel like us survivor remains have seen a lot. Like, Sadako doesn't chase you. She just goes from TV to TV so she can get condemned on everybody and then just mori the hell out of you. Now they've made it to where when she teleports survivors within a 16 meters, oh my god, I have powder mouth, of a powered TV will receive a stack of condemned. Teleport cooldown's been removed, allowing her to teleport more frequently. Yikes. That could be bad. When a survivor is hooked, their current condemned progress becomes locked in, preventing it from being removed. So make it very risky for survivors to ignore Sadako's curse. Survivors will want to shut off nearby TVs and deposit their tapes before it's too late. So they've changed the way tapes work too. Tapes no longer protect survivors from gaining condemned. Tapes are no longer destroyed or inflict condemned when a survivor is hit. Cursed tapes can only be deposited in the furthest TV from where they were picked up. Well, fuck you too. So once again, force survivors to spend time crossing the map in order to delay the curse. I feel like we were already kind of scrambling for our lives with the way that Sadako players play her. Like, you either are focusing on the TVs or you're worried. You're gonna get that big ass weird eyeball on your screen and you're just gonna be fucking dead. Demanifested. The previous update made it so the Onryo couldn't start a chase while demanifested. This had a side effect of making it very obvious when she demanifested in the middle of a chase, allowing survivors to anticipate and play around it. The Onryo can now chase survivors while demanifested. Additionally, many pointed out the Onryo's changed add-ons. Rico's watch was very fun to use, rather than add the effect back into the add-on. Okay, we're not gonna worry about her add-ons, whatever. Hillbilly! Finally. At least he's making a comeback. Instead of overheat, they've added overdrive. As Billy uses his chainsaw to generate heat just like before. When the heat meter is full, not only will he continue being able to use it, but his chainsaw will kick into overdrive and gain the following effects for the next 20 seconds. So your charge speed is increased, your speed and stamina is increased, and your sprint cooldown is reduced by 10%. So, like I said, the short version, he's good now. Made some improvements to his kit, smoothed out some rougher edges, base chainsaw sprint movement speed increased by 10%, reduced the size of the chainsaw's collision detection to make him more easily maneuverable. Camera sensitivity is no longer incorrectly tied to the controller sensitivity setting while using a mouse and keyboard. Wonderful. And the Blights add-on, this is all well and good. Let's see, the Blighted Rat and Blighted Crow add-ons are fairly strong, making it hard to get out of the way. Okay, so they've nerfed the Blighted Rat and the Blighted Crow. We'll make this short and sweet. We don't play a lot of killer. That may change. I know you guys have probably already all seen all this shit. You just kind of want me to cut to the chase. Adrenaline Vow no longer decreases time to charge. A rush token no longer increases rush speed by 10%. Instead, it increases maximum rush by 2, increases maximum rush look angle by 20 degrees. It decreases rush turn rate by 55%. So pretty much he's getting some nerfs, but you know, some nudges where he needs it. Alchemist Ring, the one you're not surprised to see on this list, increases rush duration by 20% for each consecutive rush. They changed that. Completely changed this add-on. Compound 33. Each consecutive rush, which is longer than 4 meters, increased turn rate by 33%. So they've changed, you know, the effects of 2 of his add-ons so far. Iridescent Blight tag, extremely powerful in the right hands, and can make gameplay awkward. Enables rush to be performed without spending tokens. Rush bonuses are capped after 3 consecutive rushes. That's good. Blighted Corruption goes on cooldown for 20 seconds after a successful lethal rush attack. Okay, so all this stuff for killers. Now, what do we have for survivors? Are we gonna get anything? Say the best for last. I changed that so each token grants a stackable 4% decreases expo basic attack on cooldown. It was 5%. 2 tokens are lost when the obsession loses a health state by any means. So it was just basic attacks. Grim Embrace. Blocks generators. First time each survivor is hooked, all generators are blocked for 8, 10, and 12 seconds once the killer moves at least 16 meters from the hook. Ugh. Fuck. Alright, quick gambit. Here we go. This perk grants other survivors a prepare speed boost when you're being chased nearby. However, its range is fairly low, making it difficult to get close enough for survivors to benefit without also putting them in danger. They've increased the range to 36 meters, reduced the repair speed bonus to 3, 4, and 5. Okay. You could have, like, gave us this and left this just to see, because I mean, we haven't even got to test it yet. So just because you may, or, like, okay, I don't feel like this is going to increase the usability or usefulness or popularity of this perk at all. Like, okay, give us this. This is great. But leave this. Enough for us to test to see if it's even gonna fucking matter, because I don't think even if you left it alone, anybody's really gonna still fucking run this perk. Unless, you know, you're in a swift situation, maybe surely fine. But any killer that can see someone is in range or hear a generator being worked on is gonna drop chase with that person, and they're gonna go and be in chase with the person who's doing the gen. I mean, that's just my opinion. So that's the only perk change that we have. So Survivor's pretty much got nothing. Again, in this PTB. Getting a new Survivor. Fine. Great. Give us some perk changes. Give us some quality of life. Give us something. Let's see. So, let's see. What do they do to Ruin? Tone the perk down in previous update. In retrospect, the perk can be disabled by being cleansed. Okay, so they're fucking changing Ruin again. Ruin is no longer disabled once server is killed or sacrificed. Shadowborn. When blinded by any means, gain a 6, 8, or 10% haste effect for 10 seconds. Monitor and abuse, they changed that. Also, remove the FOV adjustments from this perk and left the terror radius effects unchanged. Okay. So they've changed Mount Orman. Layout changes to the front and back of the lodge, as well as miscellaneous loop adjustments. Front of the lodge currently has a long row of rocks stretching across it. This can get in the way and make it difficult to traverse the map. Additionally, there's no room in the sports city windows or pallets. It is a huge fucking dead zone. That was a problem. Oh, the back of the lodge, meanwhile, is comprised of mostly picnic tables, great for enjoying a meal in the freezing cold, but not very impactful when it comes to gameplay. Pallet routes, loops around these tables are fairly short, making them incredibly unsafe. Okay, so that might be good for us. That might be the one thing that's good for us. Whilst these will not be in the upcoming PTB, our first limited time modifier, DBD Lights Out, will be available to play in the coming months. Stay tuned for more information. Okay, so this is what they were talking about. So we get the teaser of the flashlight on social media, which obviously was a reference for Alan Wake. Because if you've ever played Alan Wake, then you understand what I'm saying. But this is cool too. Like, I had saw Spooky Loop say something about hoping that there was some kind of new gameplay thing. And I'm super excited because I had not read the patch notes, okay? See me. I'm sorry. I hadn't read the patch notes before. I didn't really even know there was going to be anything great new coming out because, I mean, we just literally got something. Who the fuck did we get? Chucky. Yeah, Chucky. So yeah, this is cool. I'm looking forward to this. We're probably not gonna see it till maybe late spring, early summer. I could be wrong. We're getting toward the end of winter now, so I don't have any huge expectations, you know, for anything like that. But I mean, who knows? Okay, so hi waifu, how's it going? I bet that you can't wait to see this because console peeps don't get to do the PTB, and I always kind of forget that, and I hate that, and I hope in the future that they do find some fix for that, but I don't know how they will be able to do that. You spaced out so hard. Look at our lovely new user interface, guys. Okay, so that was pretty much it for the overview of what is in this PTB. So let's get ready to try out the new Survivor. Let's go and look and see what Mr. Alan Wake is all about here. Alan? Where are you, Alan? The fuck is he? It's John fucking Wick! He actually kind of looks like Jake fucking Gyllenhaal from the side. Okay, my bad. Character info. Alan Wake. His backstory. 13 years ago, best-selling author Alan Wake disappeared from the town of Bright Falls under mysterious circumstances. While the outside world moved on, Alan was trapped in the dark place, a strange dimension where Alan's stories come to life. Sitting before his typewriter, Alan wrote page after page as time seemed to stand still outside the window of his cabin. He conjured terrors and demons from the darkest recesses of his mind in the hope of writing the one story that could lead to his escape from the dark place. Only then would Alan be able to return to the real world and reunite with his wife, Alice. But escape never came. And after an eternity of writing, Alan lost all hope of ever returning to the life he once knew. And then he remembered something. One of the first scripts he wrote for the show Night Spring so many years ago. A tense supernatural thriller he called Dead of Night, about a group trapped in a nightmare world. The episode ended with them all escaping. Bye. Alan struggled to remember. His time on Night Springs was ancient history, and the dark place was a thief of time and memories. The only solution was to recreate the script from memory as many drafts as needed, until Alan remembered how the episode ended. With every iteration of the script, the dark place changed around Alan, placing him in the middle of the action, and every failed ending brought Alan back to the cabin and the typewriter. Undeterred, Alan tried again and again until the ending came to him like a voice whispering in his mind. Alan wrote the final draft and found himself back with his character standing before a wall of black fog. Looking at the fog sent chills up and down Alan's spine, but he knew this was how the episode ended. He watched his characters pass through the wall of fog, leaving the nightmare world behind. Alan stared down the wall, struck by realization. The episode had ended on an ambiguous note. Did the characters return home? Did they make it back to their loved ones? Alan couldn't remember what he had intended. He wanted to turn back, to start again and write just one more draft. No sooner had the thought crossed his mind than he saw it. A dim light flickering to life deep within the fog. A sign? A way home. After all this time, there it was, right in front of him. Alan took a deep, trembling breath and entered the fog, never taking his eyes off the light in the distance. That's some good-ass fucking writing right there. So, you know, you get some backstory of Alan Wake. If you haven't played the games, play the game. Play the freaking games. Play the first game, okay? I can't vouch for the second one, but play the first freaking game. I don't care if you play the remaster, play the first fucking Alan Wake game. So, these are going to be his perks. Champion of Light. While you're holding a flashlight, this perk activates. When you're shining a flashlight, you have 50% haste. When you successfully blind the killer, they also gain 20% hindered for 6 seconds. This effect cannot stack, and the cooldown is 60 seconds. Boon Illumination. Finally, another freaking boon perk. Hopefully this one lasts. They don't wreck it into the ground because it ends up being cool and used, and we can have nice things. Press and hold the ability button near a dull or hex totem to bless it and create a boon totem. Soft chimes ring out in a 24-meter range. Survivors inside your boon totem's range see the aura of all chests and all generators in blue. If you have a lit boon totem, you cleanse or bless totems 10% faster. You can only bless one totem at a time. All equipped boon perks are active on your boon totem. Huh. Okay. Maybe? Useful? I don't know. Okay. Deadline. This perk activates when you're injured. Skill checks appear 10% more frequently when repairing or healing and appear in random places. The penalty for missing skill checks is reduced by 50%. Okay. This is like being crazied by the doctor, but you're pretty much choosing fucking insanity. Right? So, alright, it's that time. Do we think these perks are going to be useful, or they're going to be impactful? People are going to use them. This one, people are going to use the shit out of Champion of Light. Except for me. I'm garbage with a fucking flashlight. Let's not even go there. We all know it. I've proved it. Don't ask me to use a flashlight. But I will when I play him, just because I could get lucky. I don't know. Probably not. So Champion of Light, yes, I think it will be used. Boon Illumination? I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but why would you do that? Why would you run this boon? I mean, okay, well, you have plunderers, yes. But you must have another survivor perk that belongs to Felix, where you can see the outline of all generators. There's no range on this. Like, we have a lot of perks that let us see gens, and, you know, I mean, people already know pretty much where the chests spawn on the map. So I don't really see this being impactful or being used. Especially if you have a radius on it. And, you know, you have to do a totem to make this happen. I don't see it. I might be wrong. We'll find out, but I highly doubt you're gonna see very many people, if anybody, running this perk. Deadline? I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I think people will. I think it's gonna be more of a challenge for people, because a lot of folks, you know, can do the current skill checks in their fucking sleep. I hit a great skill check. I'm not one of those people, okay? Don't ask me to hit a great skill check, because I won't be able to do it. If you don't ask me, it's probably more likely to happen. But Yeah, I definitely think the Deadline and Champion of Light will be used. Champion of Light for fucking sure. Deadline? Probably. Event Illumination? Likely not. There's our overview of what's coming in the patch. That should be out at the end of the month. We got about probably 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks before it comes out. So we can look forward to that. And we're gonna end this video here for YouTube. If you guys are watching on Twitch right now and watching on YouTube Live, I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the stream. I cannot wait to get into this gameplay with you, and for those of you who are watching this YouTube video later, check the next episode for some yummy gameplay of Alan Wake.